Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to this special late night edition of Highway. I'm sorry, that was a smudge on my monitor. That says AM, not PM. Never mind. Welcome to this morning edition of Highway to the Threemus Zone. Today is the final day of our first stage of matches. We're going to round out the group play today, and by the end of the day, we will all know where we stand. Table, magma, or hook. I am Zoe Vermillion. I am joined here in the booth by Commander Leonhardt. How you doing, Commander?
I'm doing well, Zoe. Glad to be here with you.
I'm tired. I had a thought I was going to say, and I couldn't think of it.
That's fair.
So we've got a great match here for you today. We've got Scratchdragon up against Mageius. Scratchdragon is currently 2-0. Mageius is 0-2. So all that's at stake here is whether or not Scratchdragon is going to make it straight to table or is going to come to Magma Group with me. I hope Scratchdragon wins today.
You're not alone amongst the Magma Group. The Magma Group is already full of some incredible racers, and the only sad part is that the numbers say some of them are not going to win 2 races and they're going to have to be done, but they shouldn't feel ashamed about that. There are going to be some great racers in both groups that just don't make it to a play-in.
Yeah, absolutely. There's this tournament is stacked with great players. Tons of fantastic people I look up to, 1 and 2 and 0 and 3, but with the way it's laid out, there's still a chance. They going through the hook group, you still get a chance at getting a play-in race. There's less seats available than there is for the Magma group, but your pool of players is also going to be 1 and 2s and 0 and 3s. So it should be exciting to see how these next 3 weeks of Swiss play out. But do you want to talk about these objectives here?
So first of all, we have, of course, Forge the Legend Sword. Secondly, we have Complete the Sealed Cave, which is something that makes me wince as a runner because we have the warp glitch on. And Complete the Sealed Cave kind of means I'm going to have to make that walk unless I end up forging. Complete Cave Magnus is always a fan favorite. We get to hear that lovely music if the runners take that objective. And to make sure that none of the others are too easy, we have a required moon altar in the Crystal Sword.
Yep, that second objective, complete is not necessarily the word you want to see at the start of that sentence. Most of the runners would prefer to see unlock, but chat probably wants to see complete because that's a pretty spicy objective. Can be a bit out of the way to get there, could hold a random nasty boss, but you have no way of knowing what it is till you get there. But maybe we'll find out because it looks like we are underway.
Yeah, and we'll see if Yang gets some help. Yang can do a lot of work if you stick with him throughout the game, but early on it hurts. That Palom, though, and is very nice. The White Spear, not too exciting yet, but maybe one of these free characters is Kane.
Yeah, White Spear being handed over by a Vanilla Baigan. So starting off nice and early. Hope you like, Vanilla Sundays, because that's what we started off with here. But having a Palom early off, definitely not a bad thing. Once getting Antlion down or for Bull, get some experience under your belt, you can get that level 2 ice magic and kind of turn on some damage on that Palom. The question is, between all of our free character checks, who are we going to find that's going to allow us to do a bit more damage than our starting pair will?
Scratchdragon's going to check Watery Pass for free characters, and Mageius is going to check Cydia. We find Sid in the Watery Pass.
Okay, Sid's pretty good. Starts off at decent level, not with the hardly any equipment, but can do hundreds of damage instead of 10s early on. Mageius is finding a Tella alongside an Edge.
Ooh.
So there we go. That's actually my dream team start in group flags is an Edge Tella, because you've got your Edge for damage, you get your Tella for exit, so you can loot Watery Pass and other high value locations that can go much faster with an exit caster.
Yeah, my dream team as well for exactly those reasons. Edge has the levels, he has very solid gear and high agility to slow down the already slow bosses that you start fighting.
Yeah,
Scratchdragon a quick check of waterfall and just finds a dark elf.
Dark Elf looking for his change in the waterfall, maybe doing some training. Man, can't really complain about this start here. You know, you've got your Edge, you got your Tella, you got your Palom. Those personally, that's what I like to see, because now if I go underground, you know, it's fairly easy for me to grind up and get some spells on that Palom. Scratchdragon pulling a couple interesting things here at a Dempsey and a light sword, but more importantly, in this early game is that boomerang, which will allow our runners to back row Edge, so you can stick him in the back row. He won't take as much damage, and he'll hit everything for full damage, which can be uh, godsend. I know that's one of the items I like to hunt out of shops.
Yeah, unless you're willing to forego the money you get for selling it and you slap a ninja shirt on Edge, he can get a little squishy at times. So tuck him in the back row where he's safe.
Pulling up here in Damsian, Sid is being tended to. Anna is being tended to by another Sid. So we got that, and on Mageius' side we have a Danger Noodle attacking Fabul.
Yep. Let's throw out some lightning, swing in with those swords. Suspect pretty soon we'll be seeing what the key item is there. Scratchdragon takes a quick look, finds Edward and an evil wall on Hobbs, and resets out.
Yeah, I feel like that Leviathan was getting a bit impatient for our party to take that boat from Fabul and decided to come greet the runners themselves.
Where's Rydia? Where are you keeping her? Well, whenever she does get found, Scratchdragon has a flame whip for her.
Scratchdragon is now diving. Was that a crystal sword?
That was a crystal sword.
Okay, where's our Cecil?
Right?
Where's our second Cecil?
Dark Knight left crystal sword here long ago? I am confused.
Well, he left it because he was returning to the life of a Dark Knight, so he didn't have a need for it anymore.
I see.
Someone get PK on the case. We need to find that second Cecil stat. Pulling up here in continuing my sentence before I got derailed by Crystal Sword, we have a Mageius fight in Antlion. Not the easiest thing that you'd see. It'd be much easier with that Edge in your party, but not the worst if you can dish out enough damage to get through it pretty quickly. Using this vampire to good use, getting rid of Mindy, in my opinion, probably the most obnoxious of the sisters.
Yeah, definitely. And you want to use those J items early when they're still helpful. Your party powers up to a certain point and they're just sitting there taking up space. I don't personally mind seeing a Mageius Sisters here as a runner. They can be downright rude in some rougher spots, so something I don't mind having off the table.
Yeah, anywhere that has either a high magic or a high physical attack. Oh, wow. Well, there is the key to our objective number 3. Now we have to wonder how quickly we're going to see that. You know, that spot is fairly magic tanky, but you've got to say it right now, Scratchdragon does check those characters in Mysidia will get an edge. You just need to have enough levels to maybe survive a particularly nasty magic boss there, and we could be getting some early morning music.
And we have a Rosa hanging out on Mount Hobbs. That's the glue you can build a party around.
Yeah, this party is coming together pretty quickly here. The only thing we're really missing is someone to use that crystal sword.
Well, we've covered all of the free character checks. So we're going to have to start unlocking things in the hopes of finding a Cecil. Wrong Cecil.
Oh, yeah. Like, He came back to Ordeals to re-become a paladin so he could go back to Fabul to get his crystal sword, but he heard that you took it, so now he's upset.
Headcanon accepted.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice spot to see Pain Man though. So.
Absolutely. The attack in this spot is really, really low, and Pain Man does not live up to his name. More like Tickle Man.
Someday you will see.
Scratchdragon taking care of some shopping while they're in town, picks up a few star veils. Those are very useful against a variety of bosses. It's not hard to burn through your starting amount allocation of those real fast.
Yeah, also finding life potions, which, great thing you want to find early. They're cheap. You buy a big stack of them. You don't need them for the rest of the seed. And with the Tella on this party, if we find an early darkness crystal, you may be eyeing a D-Machine grind. Also, we got some laughter at the back attack spot.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Reverse. we got some reverse laughter. So this will be obnoxious.
Very.
but you want your Tella to get the spells. I think Golbez is here to. I'm going to continue my headcanon. Golbez has time traveled and has come here to stop you from getting Medio on Tella so that he will not use it on him in Tower of Soft.
I like it. The question is, dragon going after.
I also like the dream team of the brothers on the bridge.
Yeah. Also works.
Doesn't leave the edge up. This spot does have some pretty nasty magic power, so if you can get up a Star Veil, just let him take himself out a bit, hit him once, and you'll be good to go. So that was a good coin flip win there.
Yeah, it's straight up a coin flip spot at this point. I've had to do the multiple reset here before, and it doesn't feel good, but Mageius able to have the Golbez's first spell not go after his first character, and he'll be through just fine.
As long as he remembers that he needs to attack it.
Let's hope so.
Because I've made that mistake when I was like, man, why is it not dying? And I realized that I never hit it.
Hit it, Mageius. Hit it.
Come on, stop parrying.
Like, your wall might... So, assuming Mageius just sits here and parry, I don't actually know how much damage Golbez needs to take to himself.
Oh, you missed. No, use aim.
Down. Oh no, she missed. Aim.
Oh, no, and the Star wore off.
And the wall wore off. Oh no, you hate to see it. Oh, no. I was wondering, is the wall actually going to wear off before he triggers his actual death? And it did. Yeah. Oh no.
That feels bad.
Oh. And that miss. So rude.
Yeah. Racing nerves for sure. Using an aim there would have set Rose's actually to 255 and would have, triggered the end of the fight. But sometimes you don't even think about that. You're just like, I just need to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. But that short bow does not have good accuracy.
Jeebus answering my question, Golbez would have had to have dealt 22,000 damage to himself off of reflected spells. Starveil not up to that task.
Yeah, not with your characters at an RA1. If you had an RA1, Starveil won't ever fall off, and you could wait it out. But we're not there yet.
Hopefully, Mageius doesn't punish too hard.
Yeah, hopefully not too hard. Scratchdragon getting maybe slightly better luck here, keeping the edge up. Will still get one shot by a spell, so still has to potentially win this coin flip. And does, so we should have a much smoother time here. I doubt Edge is going to miss at all. coin flip going the other way on Mageius' side. Has to take a reset. Oh no.
I think without Attila in the party, the runners just look at this Golbez after the first attempt if they don't get through and say, you know what, why am I here? But the spells on Tella is very compelling.
Also, I'm fully on team. The bloop at the end of the falling sprite is the best sound effect in Final Fantasy IV. I know the wonderful Scala Kitty is partial to the weird sounding spear, and then I know I've heard great things about the virus sound. We pull a ninja sword for our edge, a nice masa here out of the tomb. And is it leg?
See, Masamune might not be progression, but it definitely qualifies as a reward. And we do have leg, but we might not actually have time for leg day.
We see leg!
There it is.
I'm a big fan of leg, so.
At this spot, I wouldn't have been, with that Masamune, I wouldn't have been shocked if Edge one-shotted Ruby before he even got a chance to open up the cloak. Maybe if Edge had been angry.
Well, now that Scratchdragon has finished up Mount Ordeals, his tele will be fully online, unlock the rest of his spells. Still doesn't really have the attacking stats to utilize them or the healing stats to utilize them, but all those utility spells don't care about that aside from potential accuracy issues. So we have access to Berserk, we've got access to Warp, we have access to quite a bit that will help our runners get through this. Notably, still looking for a way underground. We have our Twin Harp and our Baron Inn, I think, are the only two Kyoto spots available to us right now.
Mageius, meanwhile, using some skill to overcome the coin flip. The coin flip was not going his way, but he run buffered after queuing up the Star Veil and got the wall up in time.
Yeah, that run buffer, plus I think he had dropped down to battle speed 2, afforded him just enough extra ATB ticks to pull that off. And
now hit him.
Oh, he's going to reflect. Is this going to work?
It might not. If Golbez's script is a damage counter and it follows the rules of other counters, then this actually won't get the job done. Let's see. No, you must fire directly. There you go.
Scratchdragon finding another Tele here in the Baron Inn, having some tea with a Lunar Sparkle that turns out to be a Pale Dim, and I barely had time to finish that sentence before the Pale Dim was gone.
That first spot is a thing.
Quarter leg!
Leg and friends.
Spot, very slow, very punchy, very low magic power. Elements here should not be an issue.
Agreed. Ice 2, down he goes, and we can find out what key item is here in Baron Inn.
More checks. We
got a vanilla Baron key. The overworld is opening up. A lot of options for how to get underground. I'm, like many of us, personally hoping that Twin Harp is the way so that we get our music.
I know that's what I'm hoping for.
The interesting thing will be if one of our runners finds a hook. And the question then is, how much do you dedicate to clearing the overworld before you make that? I personally will clear just about everything I can on an overworld before I make a hook dive. I stop short of looking for a Demus at package or at Magis Sisters. But up until that, I'll take any check on the overworld you give me before I touch the hook. But some runners like to go sooner.
Oh, I'm definitely in the same camp as you. I'll basically, just mow through as much as I can. Occasionally I'll fade something like Zot. It depends on if I also have the hook as a objective, because I know I'm going to have to do it eventually, and as soon as I'm ready, I'll go. But if I don't have to do the hook, I'm going to try and find a magma key and save myself time. Or at the very least, get more party strength from those additional encounters to make my hook dive a bit easier, if not later in the seed than I would like.
Scratchdragon taking some time to loot here in the Barren Waterfall. The tier is pretty good in this spot. He does find a cat claw for his yang.
Yeah, pretty early in the seed. I definitely like this play to loot the Barren Waterway because it does have some pretty good loot. I don't think I saw him take a safety save, so he's going to go take on this Vanilla Baigan, and I feel like we were just talking about this a little while ago. You need to be real careful about what's on this Barren Throne.
Yeah, the Baigan here, no particular reason to be scared with Masamune in tow, but there are a few angry possibilities for the Barren Throne. Wyvern is the big one.
Yeah, that Wyvern can be pretty rude, or even something like an Ogopogo. If you go in and have less than half health on your most important characters, that can be a pretty rude awakening straight away.
Mageius has made their way down the mountain and is heading around the Overworld, looking for their next move. Gonna head on over to Antlion, which we know will lead to the Twin Heart, so that's gonna be good.
Yeah, don't want to fade Antlion, and we'll be rewarded with the key to one of their objectives. Won't be upset about that. You don't see a magma key here, and like you feel a bit better because I know that Antlion's the check I always want to do first, and if I ever do fade it and come back and it's magma key, I'm like, well, I just lost 12 minutes to my opponent.
Yeah, it definitely does not feel good to leave a magma key behind for too long.
And Scratchdragon gets through that Baigan. Seems intent on looting a bit more of the Barren Castle. Going to go into this little secret room here, which I don't know how many people know about this. I know that when I was playing with Leggy Starscream when she was first learning, and we were playing Dark Matter hunts, she was like, "Why are you always ahead of me on Dark Matter hunt counts or Dark Matter counts?" And I was like, "Oh." And she watched me one day, and she was like, "Oh, that's why. I didn't know that room was there."
Nothing like dark matter to teach you where the chests are. It's when I learned that pretty much every room in Cave Magnus has some kind of chest in it. Finds a ninja shirt in the Barren Treasury, and we'll see in a little while if Scratchdragon is Team Wear Ninja shirt or Team Sell Ninja shirt.
So what I would do here is I would actually go ahead and equip it for this next fight, because it does give Edge a large amount of both physical and magic evade, and that could become useful depending on who's sitting on the throne.
Completely agree. And then you can hand that black belt off to a monk that would probably appreciate wearing it. Sure enough, Scratchdragon. Oh, no, there's no monk here. Oh my.
Yeah, it looks like he ditched the monk a little while back. I think for his Rosa, but he does still have his Sid, and we find an Octomarath just wants to be king.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a dark future where Octodad became the king of Barren.
I'm worried about this future.
I'm inventing so many headcanons over here, you should definitely be afraid. This fight should prove no issue. This spot has something like 4 to 5,000 hit points. Edge is swinging in for over 1,000. And the more you hit it, the more it slows down. So any sort of damage it can do to you is going to be fairly mitigated very quickly. And as I say that, we start to get the dissolving effect, and we are through the Baron Throne fight, and we will see what is hiding in the Baron pot on our way out.
Scratchdragon heads up there, was going for a lightning tube, but when the crumble started, ducked into his inventory and got some things shuffled around. Hello, Porum. Yes, we know you'll learn exit on your own, but we have a Rosa. You understand?
Yep. We have a Rosa, and we currently have another source of exit, and our Rosa already has Berserk, so here's the bench. Take a seat.
We're also well beyond the power level where Twin comes in handy. So, bosses, not too interesting. Character check, not overly exciting. Will the key item bring us some fun from this, or will it just be...
Ooh.
It's the hook.
That's a hook. So, speaking to what you were just talking about, how much of the overworld do you clear? You've got your hook. Do you go check that Twin Heart to see if you can get a magma key, or do you just dive the hook route?
Yeah, Fabul is also... No, Fabul had the crystal sword. Never mind. It is just the Twin Harp, and Scratchdragon is at least ducking into Eblin. Possibly just to see the shop and or character. Possibly to go all the way.
Yeah, you've got exit here, so you can walk all the way down there and exit back out for very little time loss if you wanted to maybe go do that. But you do have an edge with Amasa. You've got your Fella online, your Rosa has Berserk, you're not that far away from your Palom getting Quake. At this point, I'd say you're pretty ready to take this hook route and just say, I don't want to deal with the Twin Harp cutscene right now. Let's just start getting some more checks unlocked.
I understand it. I personally would check the harp, especially with it being an objective.
Yeah, do what's required is definitely a big mantra, and I definitely forgot it was an objective before I made that whole strategy speech. So let's just rewind the tape back and say, no, you absolutely are supposed to do harp before you do this hook route, no matter what your equipment is. That's what.
All right, we can edit out my comments about Yang and Fubul while we're doing that.
Oh gosh. This is a scene.
I heard you liked Tella.
The first quote that came into my head was, "No, we didn't see you playing with your dolls, sir."
Works very well here.
So dolls at Ruby, that's not that bad. Shouldn't be an issue once you get Quake. What's at the King Queen Evelyn spot? Could be spicy. Could be Newell. Could be an Odin. Could be an Antline. I didn't see it was on Mist Cave. That was a really fast reset.
It was Nope Noodle. Very happy to see him tucked into that spot.
You're happy if you're a runner,
Yeah, as a runner, you're happy.
As the comms, now we don't get to. Now we can't see a super cannon Ogopogo that punishes you for going in thinking this is a free fight.
Classic. Mageius wandering into the Baron Inn and should be getting a Baron key shortly.
Yeah, Scratch looks like he threw out an Hourglass 2 on these Stalemen. Trap Chest in T. Wildish can give some very good loot, so could be rewarded here with anything from a Power Robe, something lower tier like a Firebomb, or even a second Crystal Sword with no Cecils in sight.
Cosmorpheus in chat is pointing out that Edge could steal Earth Hammers off of these Scratchdragons. Scratchdragon could steal Earth Hammers off of these Stale Men. They sell nicely, and Sid would appreciate wielding one.
Yeah, I was thinking that'd be cool to wield, but Earth Hammers sell for. You're right, they do sell for a lot. You know, if you steal a couple, you could fund your underground shopping for J items. That's I did not know that you could steal Earth Hammers from them. So that's a piece of tech that I might have to keep in mind.
There is oodles and oodles of tech to try.
Ooh, a Zeus Gauntlet.
That's for sure. Zeus Gauntlet and Protect Ring. I look at both of those and get happy for different reasons. Zeus Gauntlet's going to ramp up somebody's offense, and that Protect Ring has some very fine defensive numbers and protects against fire, ice, and light.
Yeah, that Zeus Gauntlet also has a pretty nice use if you throw it on before you find these Mad Ogres. You throw it on that edge, for example. That edge is not going to be taking hardly any damage. And if you want to seal up some Bacchus wines, then you've got your free opportunity.
Oh, speaking of, here are some Mad Ogres.
Or just an Hourglass. Now, I do believe that Scratchdragon has a Mute Knife equipped to that edge, so we'll probably see 3 life glitches come off. You might be trying for doubles. Would be interesting to see. And with that Zert going out, not going to bother trying to steal any Bacchus wines, just wants the experience and to be done with it.
Just moving on. Still a few chances to find Bacchus in shops. We haven't seen the Underworld shops or the Moon shop. And there are a few Mad Ogres still hanging out in Castle Eblin if the need to steal them materializes.
Very true. Very, very true. On Mageius' side, we've got some Troya shops being checked. Being over in this area, to me says, hey, I'm going to go do music. So hopefully Mageius will be the hero of the people here and give us what we all... Was that another crystal sword?
It was 2 crystal swords. Wow.
That is twice this morning that I have been interrupted by a crystal sword. You know, Bari, we need to have a talk, and you need to roll my seeds, but you need to also make sure there's at least 2 Cecils, please.
Right. You were saying about needing a roll like this. Personally, I see those crystal swords, and I'm just like, where is my Cecil? Why you do this to me?
Yeah, how long do you hang on to those before you decide to sell them? Because as soon as you sell them, then your Cecil's going to appear. It's the way that Free Enterprise is programmed. Not really, but it feels like it all the time.
I have a 100% success rate at discovering paladins after selling crystal swords. That's because I'm 1 for 1 and I refuse to ever do it again.
Yep, I'm also 1 for 1. I held on to 1 for the longest time, needed my Darkness Crystal for go mode, sold my crystal swords before doing my grind, and said, I'm going to find a Cecil on the moon. And lo and behold, I did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Scratchdragon's going to show us what we've got here at the King Queen Eblin spot.
Meh.
We have free. Okay. More interestingly though, we've got Mageius here in Cave Magnes going after that 3rd objective. Maybe the boss hero will be something that's more exciting for us to talk about.
Yeah, because this is a pretty free hook route. Bahamut, and followed by dolls with hourglasses. Yeah, Scratchdragon is going to be through here without trouble. Being a fan of music checks, I am personally hoping that Mageius is rewarded for making this play. So.
Yeah, someone in chat mentioning, yeah, let's just get a demist here. Get the Darkness Crystal is the key item, and the demist gives us another piece of our objectives. Then we can just be fairly happy. We do have some harps coming out in chat. Mageius is delaying it a little bit longer, you know, making us wait for the good music. So while we do have this opportunity, what's your favorite harp song, Commander?
The Oath from Final Fantasy VIII.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You?
I'm quite partial to the Dark World theme from A Link to the Past because I got my randomizer started in Z3R, but also a huge fan of Bloody Tears. But we're going to shut up now because there's music about to happen.
Last word. I should learn Z3 or something. Okay.
I'm changing my answer. My favorite song is Festival of the Hunt from Final Fantasy IX.
I'll allow it.
While that was going
Chat.
on with that
Chat,
fantastic song, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, chat wishing there was a gauntlet here. I understand.
Oh yeah, me too.
Hmm.
While that was going on, we got life staff, but you get your objective 3 for Mageius. Scratchdragon made it through the dolls with relative ease. On the way down, showed us that there is a flavor of Mylon at the top of Lower Babel, and has come straight to Dwarf and found a karate here. Having woken up from the Sylph Cave, come in here in search of a way back to the surface, runs into his old party, but for some reason we just start attacking each other, and I think it's just just the madness of being trapped underground for so long.
FF4 likes to blame hypnosis.
Yeah, hypnosis. Yeah, that's typically what it is. Especially when you are hypnosis by someone else who is also under hypnosis, and it's just like a hypnosis chain. It's just hypnosis all the way down.
Hypnoception, indeed.
All right, so Mageius didn't get rewarded there with the key item. Still does not have the hook, because we know that comes from the Baron Pot, which that appears to be where they are headed. As Scratchdragon makes it through the karate fight, will show us a character and a Threemus bonus round. You love to see it. This spot has very little HP and turns this Dwarf Castle into 3 key items, basically, because you'll have the vanilla one, the warp glitched sealed cave key item, and then also Viridia's mom.
And all men that felt that they had no country apparently came to this seed. We have seen a lot of Sid and Tella running around.
Yeah, it is a lot of the supporting cast members that didn't make it to the Zeromus fight. They really want their chance to shine. Morpheus pointing out in chat that also we get the best hand sprite, which is the D-Mist hand, where it's all nice, glowy, and ethereal.
Yes, ghost hand, best hand. Chazman, we're not going to get you that Fusoya for the beard collection. Fusoya is banned from this tournament.
I had an idea last night for a race, and I think someone's already done this, where it's just these flag sets, but the only character you get is Fusoya, and it's just all the Fusoyas that were rejected from Threemus Zone.
You know, a party of 5 Fusoyas could tell you a story about Ground Flyer's wall in a community race. Here we see that lovely ghost hand. You know, some people say, why didn't you step on the hand? Why didn't you stop it from taking the crystal? But I think it's pretty justified when it's a floating spectrum.
Yeah, I don't want to go anywhere near that. But you could say that Scratchdragon handled that demist handily.
You could indeed. Pinktail, not progression, but could be some nice gear. That's one key item closer to 10. Maybe Luca will have something more valuable for jewelry.
Chat's calling that Pinktail turning to a third crystal sword. And it's a alliterative key item checks here. We get the Pinktail and the package. Not going to grant any further progression, but, you know, could bolster their party.
Yeah. There might be a character good enough that Scratchdragon feels like going through the cutscene, and Pinktail could be that valuable loot. Want to see if Scratchdragon goes for that. Got the Fame Arch freebie as well as the chest there. Could also climb Keyless Tower.
Also, like how the dwarfs were apparently preparing for war on the Overworld by equipping the king's daughter with a package meant to burn down an entire village. This headcanon just keeps getting darker, and this is truly the darkest timeline.
That magnificent organ of the Dark World from FF6. Scratchdragon music, but looks like we're getting a job dwarf check.
Oh, but a power shirt. And no, Scratchdragon!
I have been deceived. Oh.
I still want you to win, so I don't have to face you in magma. But you've upset me. You've wounded me today, Scratchdragon. Like he went out of his way to avoid that chat.
Right?
Ooh, this
That's
man.
Deliberate. I understand if you just come in to shop and you go about your business. I understand that from a racing point of view, it is the ideal move. But to go in, take those relatively low value chests, and then just walk out without talking to a dwarf, that is cold, man. That is cold. Oh, wait. What is this?
What? Redemption?
You madman!
Top 10 free enterprise redemption arcs right there. The community health manager or community health nurse. Oh, he heard us cursing him from the booth. Oh, that's gonna be something we need to mention in the interview for sure.
There's one trap chest here in the Cave of Summons, and that makes the chests here even more valuable. So Scratchdragon's saving and opening up some chests, and if he finds it, I expect he'll reset quickly and take all of the good things.
Yeah, finds a Earth Hammer and a Strength Ring. Seems to be content. I know I'm a pretty big fan of that play. If you make it through the second floor, just go, nah, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, completely agree with that loot he found. If I had found something, if I had been not impressed by those first two floors, I might take a cheeky check on that very last chest. But I would not do that with a strength ring in hand. And our freebie is a vanilla rat tail. Is this even? What are we up to now? 4?
So I know we were talking about, you know, ice cream and coffee for breakfast before we started this seed. I didn't realize we were talking vanilla ice cream.
Right.
Dathis could smell the vanilla and came running. Hi, Dathis.
Looks like Mageius is going to check on the Baron base. I like this move. If it's free, he can handle it now, and even if it isn't, he at least knows what's there. So I definitely like taking a look.
Yep. I like taking a look here too. Oh, there's a wyvern at Asura. You hate to see that, but next to it is a free fight as long as Scratchdragon still has Hourglass, because that's either Baron Guards or Officer Soldier.
Yep. Either way, something that he can handle. They'll get some swings. They'll get some swings in, and those swings will hurt, but there are not enough of them for a full party. Get the hourglass and out and take care of a key item check while you're done.
Yeah, especially if it is those Baron Guards. You still have your Mute Knife. You just picked up a stack of Bacchus, Hourglass Bacchus, key item check. But that wyvern at Asura is not fun. That is one of the fastest spots in the game, and you need a pretty intense agility setup, as well as usually dropping your battle speed to get through it. And reflects aren't going to do it by itself. You still got to do a bunch of damage while avoiding some reflected nukes. So if that is where something required is, say our Darkness Crystal to get us to Z, that could be a potential, huge obstacle. Oh, Mom Bomb on the throne. Blah.
Yeah. It's going to come in on the rude side of things. It's going to have even more hit points than normal because of Mom Bomb, and the spot doesn't mess around with punching either.
Yeah, that extra mountain of HP on top of an already fairly beefy spot. Also a very punchy boss, and a spot that has pretty high physical attack. Maybe can't take that right now. But he has his hook. Gonna go drop us off by Cave Evelyn, and I imagine... Where are you going?
Lost on the Overworld. It happens to the best of us.
I mean, it happens to the Red Wings, or like in the opening cutscene, they're not flying anywhere near Baron. I don't know where they're flying to.
Scratchdragon making excellent use of that Mute Knife, showing off that Baron Guards are a mage type, and gets a defense sword.
Okay, so where are Cecil's, or in this case, Arcane? Also, getting cheeky. Gonna try this wyvern.
Go straight to it without even saving. Granted, maybe a defense sword or the experience isn't really worth your time for saving, but has a couple of veils up. So, getting a start.
Didn't quite get the second one up, and now you have to try and triage here while you're dodging reflected nukes and hoping to pull off enough damage to take out this spot. Already down 10k HP though, so your job's that much easier. This is a bold play though. I would not be taking this wyvern this early. Like this is impressive to be watching right now.
Yeah, I would certainly put the wyvern off till the end. But if you can take it, and Scratchdragon is looking good, and it proves to be of value, then you have to feel ahead, as dangerous as that is to say. But it certainly is a check that most people will wait on.
Yeah, on the other foot, this is something that could also potentially backfire. Taking a boss before maybe you should, and it just leads you down a rabbit hole, like say, Tower Key into Earth Crystal, ending up in like a spoon. Like that's just a huge time investment that you didn't necessarily need to make for something that your opponent is going to look at and go, "I'll last location that."
Yeah, it's with the seed opened up as much as it is, we're underground. We have several things open in the overworld. You just have to choose your things and hope that you make the right calls. We'll find out.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll find out in a moment if this was a good call.
Yep, making it through. Big old womp.
An arty bow is lovely gear, but you want to speed up somebody, but not the hopes.
It's good for that Sid. Good for your Rosa. Also, of the 3 scenarios there, progression, nothing, or rabbit hole, that's the second best.
Yeah.
And also just has Fey March out of the way, got all 3 key item checks, doesn't have to go back, and that time saved from having to redive down there is something that you go, okay, that's off my mind now. Let's just move on to the rest of the game.
Yeah. So overall, in the grand scheme of things, not too bad. Looks like we get to see a Sheila 1 set up here.
Yep, this is the Yang that we fought in Dwarf Castle. After we beat him, he decided to come back and take a nap. And so now we're going to go tell Sheila that he's here and conveniently leave out the fact that we beat up her husband.
The question is, are the sylphs the one that hypnotized him and sent him after the dwarves? Is there an underground war, or are they trying to help him recuperate?
I mean, it depends, like, if Yang accepted food from them. Like, if they offered him burrito, did he eat it?
Good point.
Mageius is now in Upper Babel after having seen the extra Tella, knows that there are dolls coming up. Probably pretty happy to see that, and we'll also be very happy to see that King Queen Evelyn's spot is just a Bahamut. Scratchdragon comes back over ground, going to trade up the Falcon for the Enterprise, something I like to do because you never want to have that parked in front of Troya and you decide to maybe do a Earth Crystal check. Also going to turn in both of these tails for a key item and maybe a 3rd Crystal Sword.
Yeah, check your freebies. Yeah, Scratchdragon's working on that. And yet, that rude Falcon punches from a Falcon parked at Troya is never something you want to see.
Okay, where's the Cecil seed?
Or even a cane. I mean, come on.
Okay, that's not a crystal sword, but it is a sword that we like to see more than that. That is 1/2 of our objective 1.
And Alec Pendragon, no, Scratchdragon has not gotten around to checking Threemus. Hopefully, it hasn't been forgotten. I'm very prone to forgetting that if I don't do it right away.
Full disclosure, I'd already forgotten we'd fought in Threemus, so I would have forgotten in this race.
The only thing that might have saved me is that normally when I get underground, I try and get in and out.
Yeah.
Try and take care of all of those freebies. I want my Sheila 1 done right away, especially if I haven't touched Fabul yet. I've gone underground magma.
Yeah, a tracker here reminding me that I've killed Threemus would be my only saving grace.
Mm-hmm. We're about to find out about our Sheila 1. Mageius gonna get through this hook route. Oh, Scratchdragon had faded Fabul, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he'll be rewarded with his crystal sword. Yeah, so he didn't realize he had to yet. He's going to see this and go, okay, I have crystal swords, I have an Avenger, and I have no Cecil. What's happening? And it's not even like Edge can throw the crystal swords like you can the X-Cal. It's just money or hope for Cecil.
Big old pile of money. I don't like that crystal armor. Reason crystal armor tends to be a big old pile of money for me is, yes, it's got some amazing stats, but it annoyingly prevents berserk.
After 4 too many times going into Zeromus with the crystal armor equipped and not being able to zerk my crystal, I stopped using it. I just started selling it.
Yeah, same. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you can get around that with an Avenger. Avenger doesn't care about anything.
That is very true, yeah.
Casting Berserker using Bacchuses.
We have a question in chat. Did either player check the sand ruby spot? I don't believe either player has gone to Kaipo. Actually, I assume
Agreed.
Scratchdragon maybe did.
Agreed. I don't think they've been in Kaipo at all.
We also do still have that package. You know, you just picked up a crystal sword. When you go in to check in D-Mist, I imagine you're going to peek that and see if it's something good. Also, hey, Magma Key.
Scratchdragon, you trolled us earlier underground, and you just got trolled with the Magma Key.
Thanks for coming from the underground. Here's how you can get back underground. And Mageius is through the dolls, finds a pitfall, going to fall down into the inaccessible half of Lower Babel, typically, and launch the Falcon. While Scratchdragon does remember D-Mist, going to see what the strange lady lying next to the lake gives us after finding a vanilla Rydia.
So much vanilla.
This is like when you like vanilla ice cream, you like vanilla cookies, but then you go and you take a sniff of the vanilla extract bottle, or like you accidentally get some on your tongue and you realize it's just overpoweringly vanilla. That's what this is. Also,
It's too much, yes. But we get an Earth Crystal, so a couple of character checks are there, as well as a lovely opportunity to rate the treasury. The way the seed is going, it's going to give us 2 crystal swords, an Avenger, and no one used them.
Yeah, there'll be 2 Edwards at the top of the tower. We're gonna see who's
and
in
a
the
punch
bed.
mage is hanging out in Kaipo, so no joy there.
Yep. So yeah, at this point, I imagine Scratch is gonna go over, at least loot the treasury. Only at this point has, I think, Keyless Tower, Twin Harp, and Zot at his disposal. So maybe music into Zot just for the routing.
Yeah, it's nice and convenient to run music to Zot, and then after Zot, you get dropped off in Baron, and Scratchdragon still has the basement to deal with, so can finish up there.
Yeah, Chad also pointing out that even if those checks didn't pay off with what you wanted, you now up to 9 key items. So you're 1 key item away from getting your double experience and making any grind option you have, that much more potent.
Yeah, that's one of the experience boosters that are built into the randomizer, just to cut down on how long it takes to finish a seed. Heroine robe is nice, a couple of apples, yet another defense sword.
Ninja sword to go with that Masa. Having trouble picking up that Cure 2. I'd call this like a solid 5 out of 10. The Ninja sword really is what pulled it together for me. But also a Thunderclaw, so it's obviously an 11 out of 10.
The Thunderclaw is huge, without a doubt. We've already seen Odin, but there are still plenty of electric.
We've actually seen all 3 Thunder Week bosses at this point.
Odin, Leviathan, Dr. Dialogue?
Oh, we haven't seen Dr. Dialogue. That's correct. I was thinking Octomam. And also the latter stages of the Elements fight are also Lightning Week, so.
Yeah, so Thunderclaw, not as awesome, but we will still take the spots that are left are high hit point spot. So anything to shorten Dr. Dialogue is a good thing.
Yeah, and you've got a Zeus Gauntlet, you have a Thunderclaw, you've got you find a Darkness Crystal, maybe you want to do a cheeky giant grind instead of D-Machine for some reason. That'd be cool. You have the gear for it now.
Scratchdragon just sold the Thunderclaw. So,
so about that redemption arc, selling Thunderclaw.
I
don't understand why you'd sell the best item in the game.
Chat has questions for you, Scratchdragon.
I have questions for you, Scratchdragon. Scratchdragon going to go get us a music reprise. so we can now we'll be able to hear my new favorite harp song again. Are we gonna get Choco Butt loot? Nope, no Choco Butt.
Nope.
And while Scratchdragon is retreading ground, we've seen on Mageius' side, and Mageius is retreading ground, we've seen on Scratchdragon's side. I want to take this opportunity to shout out both our runners. They're putting on a great race for you here on this final day of group play. So give them both a follow if you like what you see here. You will not be disappointed. And also shout outs to our crew behind the scenes. I know we've got Jeebus and Yobari, and I think Jeebus is tracking Yobari's on Restream. I could be wrong. And then we've got Commander Leonhardt up here in the booth with me, keeping me awake and tolerating my headcanons and my weird alliteration jokes.
It's been a pleasure working with you, Zoe. I'm looking forward to the rest of the race. I'm loving the headcanon and the alliteration. Scratchdragon's going to get a little bit of punishment for selling that Thunderclaw when Odin shows up, but I suspect that it's not going to change the outcome. And while the music played, Mageius ran into the Wyvern. If he leaves that alone and just moves on, that'll help him catch up. Both of our runners only have one objective done and don't have any sight on the other objectives other than Scratchdragon picking up the Legend Sword to work towards forging. But Scratchdragon has cleared a lot more ground, and I definitely feel like he's in the lead.
Yeah, at this point, only has 3 spots open to him. I'd misspoken earlier. It has Earth Crystal, has the Keyless Tower play, and also has that Mom Bomb down there on Odin's throne that he hasn't checked, but we do know is there by virtue of Mageius peeking it a bit earlier. Scratchdragon is ascending the Tower of Zot here. We will soon see who is hiding at the Mageius sister spot with this party set up. A sneeze from this edge will probably take out who's ever there. And then we'll see who the characters are here. Maybe we'll finally find a Cecil. Maybe we'll even find Cecil and second Cecil.
Okay, 2 rounds of combat. Well, except that it's divvied up over hypo burns. So this will be quite the sneeze. It's a chunkier spot than some people realize. It gets all of the hit points combined of the Magis sisters. So you're starting to get in the neighborhood of 9k. Splitting it up like this won't take too long.
Yeah, this spot can be surprisingly punishing sometimes if you come in here with a fairly low level party with only middling gear going, oh, it's just Zod, I'll be fine. You run into something like an Asura and you're like, oh, never mind.
But on it goes.
More Sid.
My goodness. And we have D-Mist escaping from Tower of Zot as we have D-Mist fighting in the Dwarf Castle on the other screen.
Yeah, he or she teleported through the door and then went through the tubes of the internet and came out on Mageius' stream. And also Phil Rosa.
This even.
I feel like I'm strapped down in a chair and someone is just force feeding me vanilla ice cream. And it starts off and I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. And at this point, I just wanted to stop. Also, free water hack. You don't want to see this here really because at the rate this seed's going, the moon is definitely not haunted, and you probably wanted this somewhere else.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a pretty rude moon and also probably not haunted given how much of Earth is cleared out.
And we still have no way to the moon. And honestly, the only key items that still give us progression on Earth, it's honestly just the pan and the tower key. So we have 2 spots, 3 key items that give us any form of progression. Something's gotta give.
Yeah, Keyless Tower still open. Neither runner has made that play. It would be on my list at this point.
Yeah, I'd consider it.
Keyless.
On Mageius' side, I would consider it before heading back up. Also, chat asking if this has to be darkness. Not necessarily. There are 2 other key item spots that we have not checked, so this could be something not darkness shaped. Oh, but it's adamant shaped.
It could be. Adamant puts Forge on. Scratchdragon will have 2 objectives down, and now only needs 1 out to have. Well, needs 2 outs. 1 out for the crystal, but also needs go mode. If darkness is found, that's instant go mode right there. But if it's Luca key, then the path to Zeromus still needs to be.
Yeah, this actually could be a case where you've got a haunted moon, despite what we just said, because you find maybe your darkness crystal here, or you find your like your Luca key here. Or your pan here, which leads to your Luca key and maybe your tower key, and you got your darkness crystal and tower. So you've got, and maybe your pass somewhere else, maybe at the top of tower, what have you. There's a non-zero chance that we don't see a moon this season, and as a runner, I would love that. But up here in the booth, show me the big orb made of cheese with people living on it? Question mark.
Some Hummingways live there, and somebody put that smiley face on the moon. You know that wasn't random.
It's very true. If it's crop circles, if it's in like a cornfield, is it a cheese circle if it's on the moon?
Swiss moon?
No, Swiss is next week.
Oh, my mistake. Chasman we've got Keyless Tower. We've got this check that Scratchdragon should be working through. We haven't seen Mom Bomb's reward yet. But yeah, that is it.
And it's going to be Keyless Tower.
Lovely gear, but not the plan. Even feel nervous as Scratchdragon.
A lovely, lovely white shirt, but don't take it on a picnic because you don't want to get barbecue stains on that white t-shirt.
No, you don't. It's true.
Gambit pointing out that Swiss is tomorrow and not next week. Gambit, I've had an hour of sleep. It is still Saturday in my head.
Yeah, you've checked so many things Scratchdragon has, and they've all come up empty, and it's just, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, at this point, like, Scratch has a fairly sizable lead, but now knows that Keyless Tower is the play, and has to think, well, if Mageius, dives Keyless Tower, maybe I'm actually behind here. And despite this lead being fairly substantial, depends on when Mageius decides to do Keyless Tower, that can be in the back of your mind, that can kind of creep in when you hit last location, something like this.
Full shop full of goodies. Crystal rings, Murasame, moon veils, and glass helmet.
Of those, I'm eyeing those moon veils if we're thinking we need to go to the moon, and those crystal rings. The Mura, you have a Masa and a ninja sword, you don't really care.
Yeah, the crystal rings, pretty sure the best ring around in terms of sheer numbers for defense.
It is
wonderful. And protection against paralysis, especially when you haven't seen a gold as.
Fluffy Mittens pointing out that Rosa knows exit now. That's true. You have beat Zot, so you get that exit. Something that I know can be overlooked because there's no pop-up for it. It just appears in the spell list as soon as you finish the rescue cutscene. Scratchdragon heading into the lower Babel, taking a trap chest here. Looks like he's got his eyes on stealing some sirens. Knowing that he's about to be at 10 key items, likely going to the moon, has a Tella for King Ryu's, has a Mute Knife for Warlocks. His grind options are quite plentiful. Or, just stole like one and then decided to kill it. Okay,
yeah,
that works.
Just gets one quick steal, and, have an Excalibur. At least you can throw that.
Yeah, that... Honestly, at this point in the seed, I'm happier to see that than another crystal sword, because as you said, I can throw the that, and I can wear that power shirt.
Power shirt, though. I mean, I've been talking up the virtues of a ninja shirt, and believe me, I'm a fan, but it's hard to argue with 15 to strength. That's 2 more swings, almost always.
And then a power staff to follow it up. Not quite as exciting.
Nah,
that moon veil is, though.
Yeah. Not punished for only picking up crystal swords.
We have yet to see Antlion, and if we find Antlion in a particularly nasty spot on the moon, that moon veil will come in clutch. For those in chat that don't know, the moon veil is similar to the star veil. They both apply the wall status. The moon veil also sets your defense to 255, which makes you evade every attack, and that doesn't fade. It's not a status effect. So for the rest of the battle, that character cannot be hit by melee attacks. And so if you run into a melee heavy boss, as long as there's not another way for them to kill you, you can take it down given enough time.
Even at high levels, it can make a rude moon fight earlier, and if you're coming at a fight lower level, then the area would normally recommend. It's a good way to cheese a boss that you otherwise couldn't handle.
Yeah, like good bosses for it are Antlion, as long as you don't trigger the counter, Mylon Zed, having only the physical attacks. There's a few others.
Digon, he'll throw a
Digon,
vampire in every now and again, but he's mostly physical.
Yep, Digon. Evil Wall, if you can kill it before it crushes you, at least.
Yeah, Evil Wall, the dream combo is to also be wearing a ribbon. The ribbon will protect you from the insta-death crush at the end, and he'll just sit there sadly.
Yep, that's always fun. Moonveil, ribbon, and go, alright, Evil Wall. You just look like plaster to me.
Yep.
But Scratchdragon doing something here that I love. Doesn't seem to be too concerned about stealing from these alerts, but is taking them out because lower babble trap chests. I am biased here because it's all personal experience, but I've pulled so many good items from these chests, including countless crystal swords, which at this point wouldn't be what you want to see, but you know, more money for stuff in the coal shop, even though you just bought a bunch of crystal rings. Or a longsword, that works too.
Feels a little rude at this point. Normally, you wander in here, you get a longsword, you're like, okay, fine, that helps, but we're already sitting on Masamune Ninja. It's just kind of like, well.
Yeah, and looking at our Scratch's character levels, we're already in the mid-30s. With the gear that we've got, you know, some non-super rude moon bosses are already on the table. He might even opt not to do a traditional grind and get some experience on moon bosses while hunting out, and then use a couple of these sirens after he gets his crystal just to shore up his HP values.
That'd be perfectly valid, and may well be what he has in mind. Let's find out which sort of Mylon we have here. Meantime, Mageius is heading into the Tower of Zot, and if he stays on the right track and doesn't get diverted by a lot of the things that Scratchdragon has done, isn't actually too far behind. Doesn't have the levels, but as far as progression, is right on his heels.
Yeah, not too far behind at all. If he fades the Baron Throne Fey March, that's where the experience differential really is. But we'll be right there at Keyless Tower, not too far behind, and then it's a matter of who makes the right calls on the moon. And before this boss goes away, we have a Mylon Zed here, and I will fight you. Fisticuffs, if you say Mylon Z.
I will not provoke that fight.
And when I say fisticuffs, I mean I'll be wearing like sock and boppers.
Mylon Zed. So many different things. Mylon Zed floats. Mylon Zed is a zombie.
Jeebus, I will wear a particularly large sock and bopper. Also, Darkness Crystal.
Alrighty then. Darkness Crystal at top of tower. That is go mode for Scratchdragon. Just needs to head up to the moon, take care of the Crystal Sword altar, and level up for Z.
And I did want to point out that someone in chat is saying, yay, there's a commentator from outside the US, and I hate to burst your bubble, but I am from the US. I'm just stubborn. I also spell color with a U, and I say Macca's instead of McDonald's. I confuse people, don't worry. Yeah, with that Darkness Crystal in hand, we can go launch the big whale, head up to the moon, figure out who's at this vanilla Crystal Sword altar, and if the seed wants to be particularly rude, that'll be where the Luca key is. Not like it particularly matters because we ran out of checks on the Earth as it is, but, you know, one parting shot from the seed to our runners.
Seed wants to be rude. Have we seen an alt gauntlet somewhere and I'm forgetting it? Because
we have not yet seen an alt gauntlet.
it leads you in with one of those fatal eyes that have a lot of hit points to cut through, and that would be some rudeness.
Another possibility would be Kainatsu. That spot doesn't have a ton of HP, but it is very speedy, and so it could throw out some waves pretty quick and leave you on your back heels.
Yeah, I'm thinking that a wave there would hit somewhere in the 1000 range, give or take. So that first wave hits you and you start to struggle and you don't get enough damage in, it could put you in a bad way. So it's got the potential, definitely.
Yeah, but fortunately, if you do run into something tricky there, you can run down to the ribbon room, maybe make it through that, and find yourself a cool 200,000 experience. Also, Yang has woken up from his hypnosis and decided that he's coming to the moon to assist us with the fight for his aromas. He's pleading, saying, "Take me with you," and Scratchdragon is.
Does.
I like this play. Your Sid has basically outlived his usefulness. You've got a power robe. You can get some levels on this punch mage. You might even still have a cat claw. And do not underestimate the power of Yang. A leveled Yang on Z, even without cat claws, can be swinging for upwards of like 3.5 to 4,000 if zerked. Also, he sold the cat claw, but still has a power shirt.
You know the play I would really like here? Well, semi-like.
What's that?
If you were dedicated to a grind, I think the rest of the party, upper 30s, makes it bad. But if the rest of the party were a little lower level, hop back on that giant and slingshot that Yang to some ridiculous hit points off of some D machines or Mac giants. But I think at upper 30s for everyone else, it's not worth the time investment.
Yeah,
But
if
never experienced the glory of slingshotting a monk to 6,000 hit points, take my word for it. It's fabulous.
Oh, it is very fabulous. Yeah, if Scratchdragon didn't have the experience from the Fey March bosses in the Odin spot, that's probably something we would be seeing here. But as it stands, get some experience from the Moon bosses. Speaking of slingshotting Yang, random Final Fantasy 4 fact for those that don't know, Yang stops gaining hit points at around level 60. He just stops. So if you're trying to grind up a quad 9 HP Yang, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It's not going to happen unless
You're
you have
going
apples.
to need apples. But if you wanted to get anyone to quad 9s, you know, it gives you a good start.
Mageius is coming back for revenge on this mom bomb. Not the right play. We obviously know that now. This will just reward a white shirt. Needs to make it to the Keyless Tower, and I have to wonder if he's going to go back for that Wyvern first. I know I would go Keyless Tower before touching that Wyvern.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would definitely leave that Wyvern for last. I would. Yeah, definitely.
Looks like we are getting a bit of a King Ryu grind here, tossing out a couple of hourglasses. We'll have Tella throw out some weeks, and with a cool life glitch, you'll be getting 180,000 experience here, which will be doubled on that Yang. We'll throw that Yang right into contention with the rest of your party's levels. This will get you most of the way to what is shaping up to be a pretty good hybrid strats team.
Yeah. And for those in chat that are wondering what we mean with all this slingshot, extra XP for Yang and whatnot, we've mentioned already that when you have 10 key items, your experience is doubled. but any character who is 5 levels behind the median level of the party gets an additional doubling that's separate from the 10 key.
And the key there, especially for new runners, is that is the median character, not the average character level. So take whoever's in the middle of your level range and then subtract 5 from that. That way, if you're playing with like Fufsoya, because he's level 50, it doesn't skew your number really high and allows much more slingshotting abilities.
Statistics is your friend for terms like median.
Mean, median, mode, and range.
Median, mode, range, standard deviation, variance.
And also, to explain something else that maybe somebody watching in chat or on YouTube is not quite understanding. In that first King Ryu fight, we saw Scratchdragon throw out some life potions against the enemies. You want to explain what that is, why that works, or what that's doing?
Sure. So that is what we call the life glitch. When you use life 1, either by item or by spell, on somebody, they're revived, and the amount of hit points they have left is based on their vitality stat. However, every monster in the Final Fantasy game does not have a vitality stat. It's effectively vitality 0. So when you use life 1 on a monster, just as it's dying, it's still targetable. But you hit it with the life 1, it revives with 0 hit points and immediately dies. You don't see any kind of animation on screen, and you get credit for killing it again. Scratchdragon pulling off a very nice double life glitch, getting 240,000 experience out of that fight instead of 180.
Yeah, double life glitch. Pretty tricky to pull off, depending on your party setup. I wasn't sure if he used his Palom to queue up one of those level 2 spells to allow him the time he needed to buffer in those 2 life potions. I know I've seen that before, something I didn't know about until recently, and I was like, wow, that's a really cool way of getting double life glitches. But yeah, it enables some really nice grinds. It's the mechanic behind which the D Machine grind works. Without it, it wouldn't work nearly as well. Also seen it here in the King Ryu grind, you see it in the Warlock grinds. Can't do it on the last enemy in the fight, or if there's only one enemy, because as soon as they die, any actions in the cube effectively just get discarded. So you can only do it if there's more than one enemy in the fight, and as long as the enemy isn't undead, because undead enemies cannot be brought back.
Yep. And there are a few boss fights where it's very useful as well. Dark Imps, Baron Guards, the Hypo Guards with the officer and soldiers. Although in that case, it's good to know that the officer carries the bulk of the experience, and if you only get 1 life glitch, make sure it's him.
Yep. Scratch pulling off another double there. Got another cool 240,000 experience. His party is pretty powerful. I didn't see what level his Palom got to. I don't know if he quite got to Nuke, but his Yang is definitely going to be very punchy. His Edge is going to be very slashy, and his Rosa is going to be very healy at this point. Chat pointing out, not quite to Nuke. I imagine if he's going hybrid strats, he might get it here from the Crystal Sword Altar, or he might hit another King Ryu on the way down if he has any more hourglasses, or maybe even the Ribbon Room to grab an extra 200,000 experience.
Yeah, but first things first, let's get that crystal. Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, I called it.
Nazo you mentioned. With the levels from the King Ryu grind, no real issue here. Already got
these waves are going to be but a tickle for this Yang at least.
And Edge is already slicing in and softening them up in a hurry. Inazo's wave deals 4% of his current hit points in damage. So every shot you get in on him makes the waves correspondingly weaker, and if you pop him with lightning, the water goes away as it scares him. Now, it's possible, depending how the ATB queue work, that you get one last final wave. If he's queued up the wave attack before your lightning goes off, you'll face it. So in spots where you really need that first wave not to hit you, this boss can be rude, but this is not that situation.
Yeah, this fight is over before we could finish explaining it. So yeah, Scratchdragon will receive his crystal for lighting up his objective number 4. If you've not watched any Threemus Zone to this point, it is only necessary to complete 3 out of 4 objectives that will reward you with your crystal, so you can then go fight Threemus. Chat pointing out this Tella is a fairly high level. I don't know if he ever found a cursed ring, so his agility situation might be a bit awkward. So maybe you don't necessarily want to go back down to the earth because you don't have the pass, but there are, now 2 viable anchor options there. So what he does here is something that I'm actually really curious about, because I'm not sure what I would do in this situation.
I'd probably go for it. Might get punished for it, but I like the power on that gang. I see a nuke on my Quack Kid, and I've got lovely swords on my ninja. Yeah, probably go for it. And if it proves to be too rude after a couple of attempts, one attempt at lower battle speed probably, then figure out some other options. And as Jeeves is pointing out, there are some other numbers that you can use besides a low number for an agility anchor. 28 and 42 work very nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. Agility in Final Fantasy IV is black magic, and we could spend an entire restream talking about how it works and still probably not get to the bottom of it. But for Threemus, what you need to know is that there are effectively like breakpoints every 14 agility or so, and so if you can't get a low number, 28's where you want to try and hit, and if you can't hit 28 for some reason that you just over leveled, 42 will also suffice. But Commander, I'm not in this race, and I'm seeing a bunch of flags with Z in it, and so they're not cheering for me. They're not cheering for Zilch. What's going on?
Maybe they're worried that you only have an hour of sleep, and that they're suggesting you need some rest.
Oh, okay. So they're telling me they're saying sleep ? Okay, I can see that. But I feel like I've seen restreams before. There's a question that I think we're supposed to ask here.
Yes. What Chad is wondering is, whose butt are we kicking this afternoon?
That's the one. Yeah, that's it.
And the reason we ask that is that when you use the crystal on Threemus in the vanilla game, you transform him into his final form, where you can actually defeat him. But rather than keep it that simple, there are over 60 now, I think, sprites that have been put in mostly by Scala Kitty, some by board AI, and one of those is randomly selected for the fight.
And same question I asked when we had our music. What's your favorite Z sprite, or what are you hoping to see here?
This one's a much tougher call. Temp Jobmus is terrific. I'm a huge fan of Potatomus.
Well, you already said my favorite, which is Temp Jobmus. Seeing that one for the first time, I died of laughter.
Same.
Took a wipe because I was laughing so hard. But we get Marksmith. Some nice Kirby boss action here.
Edge gets hit hard by the counter nuke. Even a nerfed Big Bang is going to put him on the floor unless some healing gets in quickly.
Some people in chat not sure what this sprite is. This is from Kirby Superstar. As with every Kirby game, your protagonist is a cute pink puffball of pure innocence and good, and every final boss is some Eldritch Abomination. And what is Zeromus but not an Eldritch Abomination? So it's perfectly fitting.
It does work. Edge is cured, and Nuke has already bounced, and we haven't even seen the nerf to Big Bang yet. Scratchdragon's off to a very good start.
Yeah, this Big Bang coming in, not going to do much at all. I'm just now noticing Rosa's HP total being at 2,800. This is a lot of HP for a Rosa.
Yeah. Zeromus is going to have to put some sort of combo on her to put her down. Even if you completely fail all of your defensive rolls, Zeromus's Big Bang is only going to go up to 2,700 when it's the strong version and 2,400 otherwise. And Rosa is no slouch at these levels when it comes to magic defense.
It's going to take a high roll, unnerfed Big Bang straight into Meteo, and even then she'll probably survive with the gear she has with Life Staff and a white shirt on.
Yeah, absolutely. Still in the neighborhood of Edge on this damage. It's not quite keeping up with Masa Ninja, but still putting a respectable amount.
Yeah, there's a reason we called Yang a punch mage. He doesn't really need much equipment. The equipment he has just makes him better, and he just needs levels. His damage formula, like right there, 3,600, doing as good as Edge and basically best in slot gear.
He takes, we said it at the beginning, he takes a lot of work to get going, but if you put in the investment, it can pay.
And there is our Crackle and our, not a flash, but that is a dead Zeromus. GG's to Scratchdragon, finishing with an official Discord race bot time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 40 seconds, punching his ticket straight to the table. And I believe we are joined by Scratchdragon. GG's!
GG's, and hello there.
So, before we get into any other questions, there's one thing that I have to bring up. You left Tomra without checking the job dwarf, both in the booth and in chat, and you immediately turned back around and gave us a job dwarf check. What was that about?
If you don't check the job dwarf, then your run is invalid. End of story. Especially seeing that the job dwarf was a nurse today. Shout outs to all the nurses out there right now.
Took the words right out of my mouth. But with that question out of the way, I'll let Commander.
One thing about that. So, was that an intentional troll all the way along, or did it just slip your mind and you realized at the last second?
100% it slipped my mind. And the moment I would have remembered wherever I was in the world, even if I was on my way down to Z, I would have turned around and checked.
You went in that room, opened all the chests, and forgot the job dwarf?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Thank you.
It looked so intentional because it looked
did.
Like you were dodging him. He was walking into your path and you just weren't talking to him.
Well, I mean, to be honest, this run, as even though I won, there's a couple of technical things I need to work out before my next race, because honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if anyone in this pool would have beaten me. There was quite a few things that I saw that I was just looking at while I was playing. I was just there like, why did I do that way? That's not the way I'm supposed to be doing this. So, yeah, and it was just I think I just turned off my brain at one point, and I was just trying to just get through as fast as I could without really thinking about it, which is an awful way to actually play this game.
Hey,
it can be rough, and it was a bit rude in a lot of ways. A lot of checks opened up, some of them a bit challenging. You did a good job with that Wyvern in the Feymarch, for example, and just so many things kept coming up empty, and it turned out the Keyless Tower was what finally finished the job.
Actually, with the way that this seed played out, I'm pretty happy that the Keyless Tower was the way to go, because at that point, I found the Adamant and the Legend Sword. I already had the Twin Harp, and the moment you found the Darkness Crystal, after finding those two, it was just go, which was pretty nice, especially seeing that I could go up the tower and actually steal myself a couple of Sirens after having 10 key items, and then just, as you saw, I grabbed Yang, which was another mistake because I had sold the cat claws. But I grabbed 3 Sirens and said, okay, I could slingshot Yang to heavens and beyond with the power and the strength ring I have.
Yeah, and he was even without the cat claws, he was still dishing out some decent damage. They were maybe keeping up with that pretty kitted out edge. So this seed, you know, all in all, ended up being kind of linear, with ultimately just last locationing a keyless tower, which is a play that most runners are probably going to make. You usually want that tower key going in there. Something that impressed me was on your trip to Feymarch. You know, you took the free fight with the Baron Guards, but then you took that Wyvern at the Asira spot, which is a notably rude location for Wyvern, and you didn't even blink. Like, you went in right after doing the Baron Guards, went right into it and took it out with relative ease. Like, that was impressive. Was that something that, you know, you've practiced before and you just had no fear?
There's a couple things about Wyvern. I typically will at least attempt 1 Wyvern, maybe 2 if I'm just feeling that it's actually doable. But the Wyvern fight is a lot more doable than what is given credit for. It's a lot scarier when you're trying to do it on battle speed 1 naturally. But yeah, I've done a lot of practice with the Wyvern fight. If you note, I didn't run in there the first time with just a spell speed 1 on there and just try and run buffer, which in hindsight I probably should have done, but it would have made the fight like just a slog. So I said, let me just reset, do the Baron Guards first, and then if Baron Guards have something, I'll go back and save and then try Wyvern once. If not, then I'll just abandon it and then move on, so I don't have to come back here on the off chance that Wyvern was hiding, you know, the goods as he's known to do.
It does happen sometimes. So, you are 3-0. Both you and that already brutal magma group are breathing collective sighs of relief at avoiding each other. You are looking forward to table. Have you had much practice on those flags yet?
So I'm an idiot. Let's just put that out there. Because when I first started, I was actually doing table flags. And then I went, wait, this can't be right. So I went back and checked out. I was like, oh, I've been doing table flags the entire time and not group flags. I should probably be practicing group flags.
Getting in some of that practice early. It paid off. Even if it wasn't what you were trying to practice, you know, you did go 3-0 in a group full of great players. Like, this tournament is full of great racers in every group. And 3-0 is something to be proud of. So huge GG's on that. And also, thank you for going 3-0, because I'm in Magma, and I didn't want to have to face you until maybe I get to table.
Wait up, time out. Who's scared of me? Who has me marked down as a scary player? Come on now.
You sound
How
like
many
every
different
player...
scary players have we heard say that, Zoe?
I was like, you sound like every player in Magma Group going, wow, everyone in Magma Group is terrifying except for me.
Well, hold on. In my defense, I'm just a washed up old man playing this game that's been around since El Magus had first started playing this and before that. So honestly, if anything is terrifying, it's less about the player and more about the game itself. Because 2 people enter the Zenith Zone and the winner is Final Fantasy 4 Free Enterprise, which low key and also high key best randomizer. Mark me on that. Come and fight me. You can at me. You can say whatever you want. This is the best randomizer out there today.
Oh, I won't fight you at all. I am fully in that camp.
Especially when you factor in the community around the randomizer.
Oh, everyone is here. Everyone here is fantastic. Bar none. Bar none.
Well, Jesus, again, do you have any final thoughts on the seed?
It was a good seed. I honestly, it was really up to chance how the seed played out. That with me or any of my opponents, Endo, Mageius, it's escaping my mind who the third person in my group was because I am terrible with names.
I'm looking it up.
Min. It was Min. It was another M. That's what it was. Yeah, any one of those guys or girls or however they want to refer to themselves as, of course, could have beaten me. It's not. It wouldn't have been unlikely, and they're all phenomenal racers, and I'm very happy I got to play them, and I'm moving on to tables and get to avoid a lot of the hijinks in the other brackets.
Oh, it's gonna be a bloodbath.
I'll be seeing two of them in the hook route, and I'm not taking either of them for granted.
Yeah, so thanks again, and if you get a chance, there's a clip on the Free Enterprise channel that's called Top 10 Free Enterprise Redemption Arcs. You should check it out because it stars you in that job, Dwarf. And, I think you'll get a good laugh out of it.
I'll be sure to check it out. Oh, I forgot to say one thing. For everyone in the table groups, I hope your neck is clean because I'm coming for you.
Ooh,
those are
throwing down the loose gauntlet right away.
Well, I mean, always got to throw down the gauntlet.
No, the gauntlet was earlier this year.
I threw that down too. All right. So once again, thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone that is participating in the tournaments. Thanks to the administrative team, the restreamer, the tracker, and to the commentators. Thanks everyone. This is Scratch and I'm out.
All right. Have a great day.
Thanks for putting on the show.
Yeah. And GG's once again to Scratchdragon, our winner of this morning's race. Back to the action on Mageius' side. Takes down that Mylon Zed, gets that Darkness Crystal, is now also in go mode, has both pieces of the Forge, and has the ability to take on the Crystal Sword Altar. Did what seemed to be a bit of an egg grind, so we should be seeing some progress towards the end here, and another Zeroma's butt to be kicked in short order, I imagine.
We know just has a Kainazo to get through, and if he levels up to Z first, then no big deal there.
Sorry, I was staring at a
You're
speck
good.
left on my screen that was like reflecting light, and it was mesmerizing.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah.
How many
Easily
times?
distracted by shinies. That's why I opened so many boxes. Shinies are good.
Number of times I've wandered into the big whale, meaning to go to the giant, and ended up on the moon because, ooh, the crystal is shiny.
I've done it so many times. It feels so bad.
I realized before it even starts taking off. Wait, no.
Oh, come back.
It's like Mageius is quite done with the grind, but Edge, however, is swinging for, well, at least on that shot, over 1800. 1800 is where you want to be so that the egg doesn't hatch into a mean dragon. So take some of those summons from the tower and get some more levels.
You know, I wouldn't have thought that a sword was a proper utensil to crack eggs with, but Edge is definitely proving me wrong here.
You know, the pan was well hidden. The spoon was also well hidden. Sometimes you just got to make do.
sometimes you just have to scramble it and then put in whatever you've got, put it over some heat. You know, eat it that way. Just make sure whatever you're using is heat proof, I suppose. Make sure maybe you're cooking it on on top of some dragoon armor. That might be good. I don't know where I'm going with this.
There are so many egg comments that can be made.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw out a couple. We got excellent, exciting, exit strategy.
Grind can be over easy or over hard, depending on when you get to it.
Yep, or over medium, which is my preference. You know, you're poaching some experience. You know, this seed might be leaving you a little bit hard-boiled.
The reason, though, for anyone that's pondering going after some eggs, the reason you want to one-shot these is that the dragon is a bit rude. He throws out some angry physical counters if you don't get him on some angry physical attacks, rather. And if your second shot doesn't put him down, he's going to throw a thunder attack on your entire party that's HP based.
And while we're scrambling some eggs here, our winner from today's race, Scratchdragon, kindly giving out 5 gift subs to the Free Enterprise community. Thank you so much, Scratch. We greatly appreciate it. And assuming you can hear me, GG's once again.
Having key items for Mageius means double experience here. We're already up in the mid-40s, so shouldn't be too much longer. And these hit point levels that we're seeing here on Yang and Edge, Kanazo's not going to present a problem.
Yeah, the Kanazo is going to follow pretty quickly, and Mageius still has his Thunderclaw, best item in the game, which Kanazo's elemental weaknesses are kind of weird. While he has the water up, he's weak to lightning damage, so lit spells will lower it. Lit-based weapons will just take advantage of that and do extra damage. But if he doesn't have the water up, he's weak to ice, which can make you feel real bad sometimes when you queue up a ice 3 or a lit 3 for one of the 2 phases, and then you end up in the other one and don't get your extra damage.
It's a good time to have both a Thunderclaw and an Ice Claw on a monk.
You know, I'd actually never thought of that. That's a really, really good strategy. Not sure if it's worth keeping an Ice Claw in the inventory, but, you know, if you have one.
I mean, if I'm committing to a Punch Mage, I'd like to give him all his options. I will hang on to that Fire Claw until I'm done with Mylon Z. Zed. Zed!
Yeah.
Don't bop me! Don't bop me! Ah!
It's fine. I cannot bop you while also practicing responsible social distancing. So.
Whew. And yes, a rude Rubicon is another lovely reason to keep an Ice Claw around. Ah!
Gambit in our Twitch chat, bopping Commander on my behalf for saying Mylon Z instead of Zed. Thank you, Gambit. So with this grind here, one way that mages could be having this go a bit faster is if you manipulated his character placement to get the turn order that he would want, just to allow his edge to go first, he would be saving a couple seconds each time without having to parry.
Yeah, more of that agility magic. How fast your characters move depends on what their agility is relative to your party's anchor, which in most cases, is the character in the middle position. Right now, that's Rosa. We have a flag on that is vanilla agility, because in the vanilla game, you always have Cecil in your party, and he's the person that determines everyone else's relative agility, relative speed, basically. And if everyone queues up together, there is a certain priority to the positions of the party as to who goes. And yeah, I could keep breaking this down and probably still be talking about it as we go into the Z fight. But that's the quick overview. And that vanilla agility is what makes Cecil such an interesting choice on these flag sets. It's also in play when we move on to the table rounds. There are a lot of fights where you're going to want to have a slow anchor and have everyone else in the party moving as fast as possible. And unless you find the right gear, that's a lot harder to pull off with Cecil. He starts out with 13 agility even at level 1. If you can find him a curse ring and take 15 off of that, you're in great shape. You'll even accept a Dwarf Axe or a Drain Sword to take 5 off of it. Although in that case, you're going to have to keep him on the ground. And be careful not to level him. Fight where you got a surprising full heal.
Exactly. And during this time where you've been super informative and educational, I've been workshopping a really bad egg pun. And I'm going to subject you in chat to it. And that is, if you kill your eggs for your grind with a cane, is that eggs by Benedict? Because he's a traitor?
I've never tried. I don't know what the steel table is for an egg, but perhaps Edge could poach it. Mid-50s. Oh my goodness.
Like, at this point, like, I'm not
This
sure
is-
what Mageius is going for when you have a level 56 Palom. Like, I'm excited to see what this Zeromus looks like, but 5,000 HP on Yang, nearly 3,000 on Edge, over 2,100 on Palom. This is power overwhelming, and I think
This
at
is
this point,
overkill.
you
is.
you've lost the race. At this point, I think you are just going, you know what? Let's just have some fun with the end of this seed
Sure.
and show off what a overpowered party can do.
This, Jeebus was mentioning that hit points stop at 60, and at that point you're right around 6,000. We're very close. It looks like Mageius is starting to wrap things up. Going ahead, forging Excalibur. You don't need anything to throw at this point with this kind of power, but hey.
Yeah, and he still has double cat claws. I'm very interested to see how hard this Yang is going to hit. This is going to be a lot of damage. You know, Gundam in chat calling out for the Quint strats, which is short for Quint Zerk. We berserk all 5 of your characters, put down your controller, and just hope that Z dies. Even with a Palom and a Rose in this party that are going to be mages, I think you could Quint here and still have enough damage to survive.
Oh yeah. That I completely agree. With Yang's damage based on levels, I'm gonna guess he's gonna be the main damage dealer here, even with that ninja over there with those swords. But either way, the two of them can probably handle the damage necessary to make sure that Z doesn't get too many attacks. And at this point, why not get everything you can? Sure. Some more Murasames. Maybe I will. That doesn't bode well for quinting, though. You can't can't desert while you're busy darting.
Yeah, I'm not sure why 2 were purchased, but also, like, he's just gonna throw Muras. You're just
I
gonna
think
swag
he's
on
just
us.
gonna throw Murasames, yes. Or he's just a compulsive shopper and knows he's at the final shop of the game and just has to buy everything that he possibly can.
Yeah, you got no. Just make sure you have no money in your pockets. You'll be fine.
You can't take it with you to Z. It doesn't do you any good there. We don't have a guild toss in this game. Probably a good thing.
Yeah, that's Guild Toss can be very broken. I'm glad it's not in here.
Going ahead, getting the gear set up the way he wants it. Got double cat claws. We've got each of the legendary ninja swords, a ninja hat, and a power hat. I mean, I don't know what his plan is for an anchor, and I don't even think it matters.
Yeah, it should not be an issue whatsoever. At this point, you could probably stick your edge in the middle, and maybe not with that Mura on, but if you kept a Masa Ninja on, you could maybe even have that 42 agility anchor that we were talking about, which would make Zeromus RA3, I believe, and you could just, roll with it, Edge taking so many more turns than Z just by himself.
Nothing but cabins and Amra. I certainly didn't remember. Might be looking for some Bacchus. On and to the Tower of Wishes, where we're informed we've been waiting for you. Patience, Darkness Crystal. Could have been anywhere. Takes a while to find.
Speck of Dust came back.
Quick duck into town. Is there anything we need here in town in this shop? Some life potions. A Starvale.
Starvale, there goes our hopes for Quint.
True. Does not bode well for the Quint. That's some reflected spells happening. So, runners, as Mageius heads up to the moon, you know what's coming here. He's got the levels. Take out the Crystal Sword Altar, take out Zeromus. It's going to be a fun watch, but we are going to raid him directly and let you watch it there. Thank you for hanging out with us, Scratchdragon. Thanks for the win and handling the run.
And thank you behind the scenes to Nyobari and Jeebus. They allowed us to bring you this great race and at least my middling to fair commentary, and then the great commentary of Commander Leonhardt.
You're right, Zoe. It was a blast.
Thanks so much. I hope you all enjoy. There is also another race going on Random Mania right now, I believe, and then at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, back on this channel, we're going to be showing you a different way to play Free Enterprise. It is not Threemus Zone related. but it's going to be a ton of fun. So hope to see you back then. But I've been Zoe Vermillion, and I hope you all have a great Sunday.
Yep. And this is Commander Leonhardt signing off. Wishing you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you all around.